Welcome back to the conversation. But before we go into the next leg of this conversation, here's some information. The House of Representatives has arrived at 54 resolutions to serve as recommendations to address the security situation in the country. Now, this comes after the House concluded a 3-day debate last week. The resolutions will be transmitted to the Senate and subsequently to the President. What we do know is that the House is to consider these resolutions by tomorrow. Now, while the details of the resolutions are unavailable at this time, the constitutional and operational reforms have been advocated: joint intelligence and border security, human capital and welfare for security agencies, legal and judicial reforms, particularly terrorism financing. These are some of the resolutions in that. And then community and socio-economic interventions, as well as ransom payments, which was very much emphasized during the debates last week, and more. Anyways, let's expand the conversation now with Senator Magnus Abe, who's a former federal lawmaker. Distinguished, welcome to PoliticsToday.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for having me.
I get to talk to you once a year, and I like it because I pick you out when, you've been in, I dare say, hibernation.
No, I just decided to keep quiet. I'm a private citizen, and then mind my business.
Well, at least you're lending your voice to the security situation in the country.
Yes, I think I should say something on that.
Great. So let me ask you what your thoughts are about the resignation of the Minister of Defense, especially at a time like this when Nigeria is at war.
Well, I think that the minister cited health reasons for giving up his seat. So at a time like this, I think anybody who is not in the best of health, you cannot add this kind of problem to your personal health issues. So I think his decision is right. If he feels that he can no longer continue in the light of his own personal health challenges, it's proper for him to step aside and then give the country an opportunity to look for somebody else who can take on the role at this time. So I commend him for putting the country first and for stepping aside in the interest of the country if he has found out that his personal physical condition would not allow him to be able to deliver on the expectations of Nigerians, which are quite enormous at this time. So I commend him for that decision, and I commend the president for accepting his resignation. Okay. It's time for us to move on.
Very well. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Senator Smart at AME with regard to the resignation of the minister, because this resignation comes amid calls for him and the Minister of State, Mr. Matawale, to resign. Some say that the Ministry of Defense should not be a political position. That these, apart from being governors, are inexperienced men who should not be in that position. Now that he's gone, what are your thoughts on the Minister of Defense? And the same thing I asked Senator Adeyemi is, the Minister of Defense has been accused by his state governor in Zamfara State of having in hand in banditry. But he heads the Ministry of Defense.
Terry, what I would say is this. When people say a particular political position or leadership of any organization should not be political, I don't buy that. At the end of the day, people elect leaders. What a leader does is to see the situations and call it out as it is. You don't have to be an expert in defense. They are experts in defense. That's why it's called the Ministry of Defense. All that information is there, but they need a leadership that will look at the information and say, no, this is the way we go. This is right, this is wrong, we agree with it. Those decisions are leadership decisions. And somebody who has been a governor should be able to have the right frame of mind and skill to be able to lead in that situation. He's not supposed to go into the war battlefield to go and fight and lead troops. That's not the work of the minister. So I believe that the most important quality for leadership is honesty. So that even if you make a mistake, it will be a mistake that you make because you're trying to do the right thing. But if you have people in leadership positions who are deliberately or who would deliberately do the wrong thing, either for personal interest or compromise the national interest for any other interest, then it doesn't, in fact, if they even have more knowledge, they become more dangerous. So I don't think that the commander-in-chief He's an elected civilian all over the world, and he calls the last shots in the whole country. So I think that leadership, there are qualities of leadership that anybody can exhibit in the right position. Being a professional, being a professional in a particular field is different from providing political leadership in a particular field. So I don't think that the problem is that he's not a soldier, or that's not the problem. The problem is that you have to lead in such a manner that you inspire the trust and confidence of those you lead. And anybody can achieve that. Sure. So for now, his reasons for stepping aside is his health. And I think that's what he has said, and that's what we should deal with. I don't want to go into speculation.
Very well, then. Let's talk about the president's response to the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Some say that the president had foresight when he changed the security chiefs. Others say it was as a result of a rumored coup. But what the president has now done is declare a national emergency on security. And in doing so, he has ordered for recruitment, ordered as well that the forest guards should be deployed. And another aspect of that declaration is the withdrawal of policemen from VIPs. It's now been questioned by politicians who fear that they are the next target of bandits and terrorists. Do you think the president's actions should stay?
Well, first of all, I want to say very, very clearly that people can say whatever they like, but the president is a leader of this country. He has information more than any of us can have. And if the president has decided that part of the measures that he needs as our leader to handle this situation is that police should cease to provide VIP escort for VIPs, he didn't say they should leave them empty. He said we should go to the national security civil defense for them to provide that VIP escort. I think that is a sensible thing given the current situation that we're in. And I believe that those of us that are supporters of the president, those of us that believe in his ability to manage this situation, should be the first to support him in whatever measure that he takes. As we speak now, I have already asked my police escorts in Rivers State to obey the directive of the president, and I will approach the NSDC for security protection. Because if we don't act in good faith as leaders, it is a sacrifice of the leadership that is the progress of the country. So if the president, who is the commander-in-chief, has said this is the way he thinks the police should do it, then we should support it and give it a try. Because we cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. And if those of us that are in the political space are the first to now want to protect ourselves over and above everybody else, the thing will not work. So I think that given the dynamics and the optics of the moment, I think that directive is in order. And I believe that all of us should do our best to try to comply. We're not, it doesn't automatically mean that we're being left without protection. I think he wants to concentrate the police on core criminal prevention duties. And we should support that.
The interesting part is that regardless, the number of policemen we have will still not be able to police the entire country. And perhaps that's also why we're getting suggestions and recommendations, even during the debates on the floor of the National Assembly, both chambers of the National Assembly. They pointed to the statement credited to the DSS head, which suggested self-help, self-defense. And I'm sure you followed conversations as well that have said Nigerians should be able to defend themselves. But the question is, you can't do that without arms and ammunition. Do you believe that we should toe that path of self-defense by amending various sections of our laws to allow Nigerians to bear arms?
Well, to be very honest with you, Terry, I don't think I will support that. My knowledge of what happens in the world is that if you look at the countries with the most guns in the hands of the public, those countries also have the most violence. You know, so to say that the only way we can prevent violence is by introducing more violence into the community, to me, is not a good way to respond to this crisis. If we liberalize the ownership and use of guns, everybody now has an AK-47 at home, the way it is in the US to defend ourselves, quote and unquote. There are several times that people, I was talking to my son the other day, I said, listen, people don't understand that everybody is alive because it is illegal to kill people. There's always somebody who hates you enough that doesn't want you here, but the person can't get rid of you because it's illegal. So if you now make guns available to everybody, the target you may think that the other person may be aiming for may not be the target that he will aim for. He may hate you even more than he hates the bandits. So I think that we should continue to regulate the use of firearms. I think that as much as possible, we should make sure that those that have firearms are trained, both physically and psychologically, to be able to use and understand the power of guns. I don't think we should liberalize the use and ownership of ammunition.
There are illegal arms in the hands of non-state actors.
We understand that.
Which exposes right-thinking Nigerians to danger.
Yes.
So what is the solution?
The solution to that is that we should train our own state actors and give them the support, the competence, and the capacity to overwhelm the non-state actors within our territory. That's what sovereignty means. If we can have people on any part of Nigeria, anywhere inside Nigeria, who will not obey our rules and will not live the way we have said we should live, and we cannot overwhelm them, then it means that they are stronger than the state.
Do you think we need foreign help to fight the bandits and terrorists?
I think that you have to be very, very careful in how you view this whole issue of foreign help. We've always had foreign help. There is no time that any government can operate without foreign help. But what kind of foreign help do you get, and how do you get it? Now, if you're talking about the threat made by the President of the United States, I think that Nigerians need to be very, very, very cautious. I understand the sentiment that drove that. But in this country, we know that our most how would I put it? Our fault lines are religion and ethnicity. And if you ignite any flame along those fault lines, it will be difficult for us as a society to survive it. So I don't think that President Trump understands the extent to which Nigerians have gone to manage our diversity. I was telling somebody yesterday, in this country, if you look at even the last elections we held, it was the northern governors that came out to challenge President Buhari that power must shift to the south. It was the northern governors. It was not the southern governors. So in this country, we have always organized ourselves in such a way that we understand ourselves and we have managed ourselves very well. So for a foreign head of state to come and reform the conversation in such a way that it fractures that fragile understanding will be very dangerous for us. So I don't think we should fall for that. Well, the United States has always helped Nigeria. Their people are here, their equipment are here, their planes are here. So we've always had foreign help.
If it's not yielding, perhaps based on what the US president has said, the government is not doing enough.
You see, Terry, you don't need the US president to tell you that we are not doing enough. This is the Nigerian army. This is the largest and one of the most effective armed forces on the continent of Africa. For 18 years now, we've been running after bandits, jihadists, quote and unquote, that are on motorcycles and riding in the bush and all that. Now, nobody needs to come and tell you that there is something wrong with the way we are approaching the problem and we're not solving it, because it is a problem that must be solved. But to say the way it was framed, that is not help. That will not help. And I'm very, very happy with the way the president engaged that matter. You know, he quickly sent a team to the US. They met with them. They've reached some understandings. Whatever was the underlying issues that made the American president to react that way is being diplomatically handled. And the president of Nigeria must be commended for handling it that way, because let's not deceive ourselves. We can't fight Trump and fight the bandits. We will lose. You understand what I mean?
We could do mercenaries. That's another suggestion.
Yeah, whatever would help.
Yes.
Whatever would help. Whatever will not subtract from what we are doing will add.
Well then, distinguished, the argument is that we can't continue to do the same thing over and over.
I have said
again.
that here.
So if the president doesn't have the political will to go after political actors, because we've had this conversation in different fora that there are political actors sponsoring insurgency. Until date, we don't have political convictions for those political actors. Is it a lack of political will?
Terry, people will always say things. In this kind of situation, we shouldn't focus too much on what people say. Let us focus on where the evidence leads and where the facts lead. I have seen a lot of things on the social media. There was one I saw about one of our former leaders here. I even sent it to him and advised him to go to court and sue. So we can't deal with rumors and speculations at this point. The president has, in my humble opinion, taken a very, very active and commendable step to declare the security emergency. He has outlined some steps and actions that we need to take. But what I will add to whatever is going on is that we as Nigerians need to understand that this is a Nigerian problem. It's not Tinubu's problem. It's not an APC problem. It is a Nigerian problem.
But we are tired of hearing.
You can't be tired because you still live here.
What we're tired of is hearing the government of the day always complaining about politically sponsored violence.
I don't think that the government of the day...
We've heard spokesperson of the government say that politicians are doing this because this is exactly what happened in 2015.
I heard the person I heard say that was a senator. It wasn't the spokesperson of
the Imo State governor also said something in that regard. So if we keep hearing people in government say that it is politically sponsored, it almost suggests that they know those who are politically sponsoring these violence. So why exactly
Terry,
do we not have these arrests?
I don't think we should focus too much on what politicians say when they are talking politics.
Oh, you think it's politics when we talk security?
I didn't hear the president say that when he made his broadcast about this security situation and the steps he's taking to address it. I believe that at the point of taking action, if they find out that any politician is involved in what is going on, he should be apprehended and he should be dealt with. The government has no excuse to excuse anybody. But if it is the speculation of what is behind this and all that, there are different rhymes and rhythms that can come out of that one. But I think that as Nigerians, we should focus on the facts and the reality. But what I will tell you is this: politicians will definitely and are definitely trying to take advantage of the current state of insecurity in the country to spin a political narrative. That's what politicians do. And for the opposition, it is in their interest to try to do that because they believe that it makes the government look bad. And so that makes the government look vulnerable. But what I would advise us as political leaders is that we should be careful, because if there is no Nigeria, there won't be a Nigeria for the opposition.
Absolutely.
There won't be a Nigeria for channels.
Well,
even the media, the politicians, all of us need to be very, very careful, because it is the future of our country that is at stake. And that's why I agreed to come out for this interview today.
Just before we go,
we need to deal with this matter differently.
Just before we go, what's your take on this new conversation on state police?
I have always supported state police. And it is not that I don't know that it will be misused. Because when I was in the Senate, I was the only person who spoke in favor of it. And all my colleagues knew that the minute the governors have a state police, they will be the first target. And they will be. But what I have said is that we must put the interest of Nigeria above our personal interest. If the governors today use the police against their opponents today, tomorrow they will be former governors. And the new governor will still use the same police against them too.
And a poorly funded police is dangerous. If we allow for state police and state governors don't properly fund their police, it's a danger.
Yes, because you now have armed people with guns who have nothing in their pocket, who are disgruntled. So it's a ticking time bomb. But it's something we need to deal with, because we can't continue to leave the issue of security only in the hands of the federal police. So there are dangers in it. There must be rules and guidelines that will enable it. But at the end of the day, I don't think Nigeria has a choice. We will do the state police. Okay. It will come with its initial hiccups, challenges, and dangers. But by the grace of God, as time goes on and our system continues to evolve, it will stabilize into a force that can assist in the security situation in the country.
Senator Magnus Abe, it's always a delight speaking with you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we may not even see you for the next few months after this one.
No, you may not.
It's always nice to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I've been speaking with Senator Magnus Abe, a former federal lawmaker. Well, that's Political Paradigm today. If you'd like to catch this and the previous conversation, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm, or simply go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Kumi. Goodbye.